So it's been great hearing your experience, how you got to this point, and your motivations. And initially, you talked about you had this environmental conscious you trying to grocery shop, but also the health conscious you trying to grocery shop. And you were like, is anybody else having, how do I find like-minded people?
So to the first part, in terms of, seeing, does this resonate with other people? Or other people facing this challenge? It started with just talking to a lot of people. Early on, we went into grocery stores in the Waltham area, so the surrounding area of where I was at school, and we made a point to go into different stores, so Whole Foods, and then a Hannaford, and then a Trader Joe's, to kind of get a decent, not statistically significant, but a decent survey of different customer types. And I would go in with a couple other interns, literally pen and pad, and like walk around and just ask, like interview people while they were shopping. If like, hey, do you mind me asking a couple questions? We got actually, but that was like early on. That was really around getting a sense of what are people prioritizing when they're in the store shopping, and trying to kind of build a little bit more of a kind of set of priorities and refine, like, are people prioritizing some of the same things that I was, or asking the same questions. So that was early on. Probably did a lot of interviews. Did a lot of those interviews. Then we went to local store managers, talked to them about their process for like curation, and tried to ask them around where they were getting requests from their customers, because we felt like they were kind of the first stopping block for a customer that was not satisfied with maybe the current curation or shopping experience. And then we did surveys. We did some focus groups, but honestly, not formal focus groups, but we set up some focus groups with students. But focus groups suck. Like, I would strongly recommend against focus groups. It's like awkward. Everybody's there for the food, and like, it's not really candid. And in many cases, they just are like there to talk or to like, literally get the free food. And so I wasn't kidding about the Facebook groups. It's like a mass. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, that's the best focus group you could get. Like, there is a dairy-free group that has 40,000 members. If I post a question in that, I have 20 replies, like genuine thought out replies in a matter of an hour. And I can reply to each of them. Literally, I'll post a message like, online versus in store, what do you think? And like, boom, 20 replies from people that are dairy-free. And then I can follow up with each one of them, and they will respond to me. And it's like, really, that is the best. Facebook is an absolute blessing for customer discovery. So, and they're like in their living rooms, in their boxers, like dealing with their kids, like screaming together, like genuine, like, this is my pain. This is like, I care about this, and choosing to be there. So it's a completely different landscape. So those are the kind of different avenues that we went for discovery. And just one thing that we learned the hard way was like, don't waste your time. Like, as soon as, like, if you don't think somebody is your audience, like, I think sometimes, like, you don't trust your gut enough. It's like, we probably spent too much time doing customer discovery with people that weren't really going to be our customers. It's like, I don't really give a shit what this person thinks about, like, how they prioritize sustainability. If I just know from two questions or 1 minute with them that it's not a priority, right? Like, as soon as I know it's not important to them, like, okay, on to the next, like, just rule that out. Don't spend, because now they're still going to give you feedback. Seth Godin says it best, pick the smallest niche possible and build a remarkable product for that niche. And so for us, we didn't get that small until very recently. Like, now I could tell you, like, we're targeting like 18 or like literally 20 to 22-year-olds, upperclassmen in college on a meal plan, with a dietary preference, like with a dietary restriction. And at liberal campuses across the country were in session during COVID. Boom. And so over the summer, we were getting people that were signing up were upperclassmen or recent graduates in college, all with like the same story. They were all 30 to 50% of their groceries were being bought online. They all had some particular dietary preference, and it didn't have to be an allergy, but maybe they're vegan or they're trying to go plant-based, or like, they were trying to avoid added sugar. And then they had just seen something fascinating. It was like Netflix might save the planet literally just because they're inspiring people to care about climate change. it's like ridiculous. People see one like little documentary and they're like, oh my God, like this is my life calling. But seriously, like they'd see they'd seen a show that I just saw the Zac Efron show, or I just seen this David Attenborough movie. And like, then I literally, that was the inspiration, Googled sustainable grocery or sustainable food, found GreenChoice. And so like we had this really defined persona. And as we talked to them, we started to learn, this actually led to the pivot. We started to learn they were using us in parallel to their online grocery shopping platform. They would have Instacart and GreenChoice open at the same time on their phone. And they would check the products that they were seeing on Instacart on GreenChoice, and then search products on GreenChoice and add it to their cart on Instacart. So like once we got that insight and we see, okay, the last 15 people that signed up for office hours I spoke to, all was a college student or recent grad. Like we thought they were too young. And what I realized was we had always ruled that group out. We always thought that they were too young. And this challenged that whole thing. And it was like, no shit, like that was me when I started GreenChoice. Like I was basically a recent grad grocery shopping for the first time. So we realized that, okay, new grocery shoppers are really asking these questions in a real way, and they don't have brand loyalty. They try new products. And so that like opened that door to us.
Amazing.
Thanks so much.